Alright guys, so I've got a little etude for you that I've written that will help you scale the fretboard and work some 3-string arpeggios. This shouldn't be too difficult because a lot of the shapes are barred. A couple of them, like the first one. The only thing you really have to get right is the sweeping, the picking motion, because that counts for everything essentially in this matter. So if we start with the first shape, we have to remember it's going to be 2 upstrokes and then a downstroke, because that downstroke is going to carry us through the rest of the arpeggio, as you just saw. So going a little further into it, you're going to hammer off on the high E from the 15th to the 12th, then an upstroke to the 12th on the B string. Now this is when you switch your picking motion, and it really becomes a sweep. Downstroke on the G string on the 12th fret. Because then the next note after that is a downstroke on the B string on the 12th again. Now I've got my finger barred here, that's the easiest way to do this. And then we're going to continue to the downstroke on the 12th. And then we're going to actually pick upwards when we hit the 15th. Because when we hit that 15th there, that brings us back in the direction to do the sweep in the opposite direction again. So then essentially you need to work on the right hand and make sure that's coordinated with the left. So then you move down to the next shape. And what we're doing there is the same kind of sweeping motion. Just remember, when you're on your third note there, descending, third note is a downstroke. So on this arpeggio shape, we're going to hit the 14th, right? And we're going to hammer off into the 10th on the high E. And then an upstroke on the 12th on the B. Then a downstroke on the 11th on the G. Because that brings us right back in the direction we need to go, which is a downstroke on the 12th on the B, and then a downstroke to the high E on the 10th fret, and then an upstroke on the 14th. So then we slide right there. Sliding makes it easier in this case because we're actually just moving this shape, exact shape we just played, right down here 2 frets. So it's the same exact fingering, so we can just literally keep the hand steady, slide it down so we don't have to reset up. So again, once we bring that slide, which is a downstroke, from the 14th to the 12th fret. So you already know what we're doing here. We're hammering off from the 12th into the, let's see here, looks like the 8th fret, then an upstroke on the B string on the 10th, and then a downstroke, returning that pattern to the shift downward, which is the G string on the 8th fret, I'm sorry, 9th fret, then downstroke to the 10th on the B, downstroke on the E on the 8th fret, upstroke on the 12th. So then we slide again to this different position. Now we're sliding, but we don't keep it the same position we just did. We don't get the luxury of that. So when we slide down, we're keeping the pinky here on the high E on the 10th fret, and we're hammering off to the 7th. Upstroke on the B string, which is at the 8th fret. Downstroke on the 7th fret. Then again, we're returning the direction in an upward motion. Downstroke on the B, which is on the 8th fret. High E, we're going to hit the 7th, and then 10th fret in the pinky. So far it's... Then you have... Then you have... And slide. Then we have... So that goes. So what we're doing is essentially a diminished arpeggio. So we're going to keep, the good thing about this is these diminished arpeggios, these are all the same shape, you just have to shift up. Fingerings are the same. Okay, so let's start right here. That's going to be on the 8th fret. We're going to hammer off with the ring finger to the 5th fret, upstroke on the B string on the 7th fret, and then we're going to the 8th fret with on the G string, which is a downstroke, then right back to that fret we were just playing, which is the 7th on the B. And then the high E is going to be the 5th, and then we're hammering right onto the 8th. And we're moving this shape up every 4 frets. And then we just move it back down. So what I'm going to let you guys do is take away from this knowing that this shape stays the same. And it moves all the way up the fretboard that way. So just shift the position up 4 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift the position up 4 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shift it up one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same thing. And then going back down is going to be reverse. So let's start this on the 15th fret with your index finger. I'm sorry, your ring finger, and then we're going to hammer off to the 14th. I'm sorry, 17th, and then hammer off to the 14th. Upstroke on the B string on the 16th. 17th on the G. Right back to the previous string on the 16th. And then you have the high E, which is 14, 17. And then you're going to slide each time. So that's the fretwork. Just know that and apply it all the way down. For example, just make sure to slide. So again, and then all the way down. And that's pretty much it. So again, this, when it slides down, we're basically shifting it every 4 positions. So we already did that. If we shift it down 4 more frets, we're going to start on the 5th. I'm sorry, we're going to start on the 14th with the ring finger. We're going to hammer off to the 11th. And then we're going to upstroke on the B string on the 13th fret, and then the 14th on a downstroke on the G string on the 14th. And then right back down, 13 on the B. Downstroke, upstroke, which is the 11th and the 14th. And you just move that every 4 frets down. And that's basically the lick. So the tabs are here, and if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments.